Hello, welcome to Jason the Old Millennial. My name is Jason. Speaking to you here in my basement in the great state of Kansas. Today I am going to review two recent movies that came on streaming, one being Elvis and the other one being Thor Love and Thunder. So stay tuned to see what my thoughts are here on the Jason the Old Millennial. Hello, before I start the reviews on this channel, I wanted to say, big news today. Queen Elizabeth II found out this afternoon she passed away. 96 years old, 70 years reigning as Queen of England. I mean, the longest reign, historical reign. And just, to all my friends in England, just my, prayers go out to everybody in England. And I know it's probably a tough time for everybody there because she was very well, respected and liked and all that. So sorry to hear that to all my friends in England. I mean, what a legacy that she leaves behind. I think really the face of, world dignity, I think, and Queen Elizabeth II. And, again, what a reign. 70 years, just celebrated not too long ago. I remember watching it on TV. So yeah, so I'm very sorry to all my friends from England, and just my all out to you guys, and during this time of mourning anyways. And so, but yeah, so now on to my video. Hello everybody, hope everybody's doing well here on a Thursday, late afternoon, kind of early evening time here in Kansas. And want to do a review of two big movies that kind of came on streaming this last week. One being just came out today. But before that, say tomorrow, stay tuned on this, my YouTube channel at 2 p.m. Central Standard Time. I'm going to do a live stream with Adam from What the Gym and Briar from Briar CD Showcase. And we are going to be ranking our top 10 favorite animation movies. So it should be a lot of fun. If you like animation movies, hopefully you can enjoy our thoughts on our favorites. And yeah, come by and say hi and write some comments of your favorite animation movies, whatever. Love to see everybody there. Also, I'm going to be pretty busy couple weeks. I got a bunch of live streams that are coming up. I've been talking to some people like Ryan from RWR Reviews. We were going to do a live stream with on his channel on the 20th with Jacob Martin. So more details later on that. Also, I've been asked to be on a live stream on a guy named Pete. He has a channel called Play Tendo Guy, and he has a live stream every Wednesday. And so he asked me to be on the 21st live stream, so I got that. And then the 23rd, me and Adam from What the Gym are planning on doing another live stream on his channel. This time ranking our favorite characters from movies anyway. So yeah, so got a lot going on, a couple weeks. One tomorrow and then 3 live streams in the same week. So yeah, a lot going on there. So stay tuned to all of that, and I'll have more details, of course, as we go. Anyway, so yeah, I wanted to review 2 big movies. I usually do these movie gauntlets, or I do mini reviews, but these 2 movies are big enough that I thought it might take the whole time just talking about these 2 movies. First one being Elvis, which just came out on HBO Max about a week ago, I think on Friday. And I caught it, I think last Monday or so. I finally got around to watching it on HBO Max. Of course, the movie came out earlier this year, I should say, in theaters. Fairly big movie. Of course, Elvis, one of the biggest, if not the biggest rock star of all time, one of the most influential rock stars that we've ever had. The only people bigger to me is the Beatles as far as rock music goes, but obviously there's a lot of big ones out there from the 50s era, and definitely he's at the top of that. He was the king of rock and roll, as they say. Not a huge Elvis fan, but I do enjoy some of his stuff. And he definitely, I can't deny the iconicness of his image and his voice and a lot of his great music that he made. Anyway, so I'm always interested in a good music biopic. I've been watching quite a bit lately. So this is one I was kind of looking forward to, especially because Adam from What the Gym said that it was one of his favorite movies of the year. When he reviewed the movie when it came out in theaters, he gave it a really good review, really liked it. Jacob Martin, when we did our top 10 biopics on his channel, Elvis was in there, I think like number 8 or 7 on his list, so it was a top 10 favorite for him. So yeah, so I was looking forward to this, and then watched it, and then bottom line, I was very bored with this movie. I was just bored to tears watching this. And of course, I knew coming in it was a long movie, and 2 hours and 40 minutes, really long. They could have cut 40 minutes out of this movie. A very slow moving movie, and we get to see kind of Elvis kind of starting out at the beginning, and we get to see him till he dies, basically. And we see kind of bullet points of like different major points. Like there was this Christmas special where he's wearing this black kind of tight outfit. There was the Las Vegas concerts where he's wearing the typical Elvis, suit that we really kind of think about Elvis. Of course, at the beginning we see him, with his suit, and when he's really jiggling and doing all the, hand signatures and stuff, and really kind of getting the girls go crazy. We see a lot of those signature moments throughout, and which is kind of interesting, but yet it just didn't feel like we had a lot of context, or not context, but a lot of, filler in between those big moments. We didn't have the good quiet moments of Elvis just talking. I mean, there's a couple, but I don't know. I feel like I wanted more Elvis just being Elvis, not on stage, but just him being with Priscilla or somebody, and we get more personality out of him. I just never felt like I really knew who Elvis was throughout it. And one of the biggest problems I have of the movie was Tom Hanks's Colonel Tom Parker, who was his manager, came became his manager. And kind of what we know of Tom Parker is that he kind of somewhat scammed Elvis, and he wasn't a good manager. And we get that in the movie, and I've heard that before the movie, that there's a lot of negativity about Colonel Tom Parker and how he kind of used Elvis to make money, and he made these contracts that it was impossible or something for Elvis to get out, and Elvis was not happy with what was going on. So we get that, and Tom Hanks is playing Colonel Tom Parker. So the whole movie is actually narrated by Tom Parker, by Tom Hanks, him doing that character, and we get a lot of insight through Tom Parker. It felt like a Tom Parker movie featuring Elvis, instead of being a movie about Elvis and seeing everything through his eyes. I would love to see an Elvis movie where, it was more kind of seeing him growing up, and then him, how he became famous and how he started, getting noticed and getting his first record deal, and then how all that, and see his life through that. But instead, we see it through somebody coming in, and Elvis is starting to get famous. Elvis is almost kind of becoming famous at that point when we see him. So we don't see that. I would have rather seen a built up to his fame. And so we kind of go in there, he's already kind of getting famous, and Parker makes a deal being his manager kind of thing, and he becomes bigger and bigger. But yeah, I don't know, I just didn't like the way they organized it for Tom Parker being kind of the main character in some sense, and him narrating everything being through his thoughts and what he thought was going on, and just so many shots of just Tom Parker talking to the camera and stuff. I just didn't care for any of it. Didn't care for Tom Hanks' performance. I think it was actually a miscast. Though Tom Hanks is like my favorite actor working today. I think he's a really great actor. I mean, he hasn't been putting up the best work now like he did in the 90s and 2000s. That was kind of prime Tom Hanks. He's getting older, of course, but I don't know. He's not, I wouldn't say, he's still putting out good work, but I don't know if he's putting out his best work yet, or still. And this was one of my least favorite performances of his, and one of the biggest reasons why I say is a miscast. I mean, I'm sure Tom Hanks, he could do a great job with any role. I mean, not saying he couldn't do a good job with this role. There's something when I was watching it, I'm thinking, Tom Hanks, he's one of the best likable actors out there, and you put him in this character that you kind of hate and very unlikable. And I kept thinking, like, why did they get Tom Hanks, a very likable actor, to play an unlikable character? I mean, he's an actor, he can do anything, I suppose. And I'm trying to think, when's the last time I've seen Tom Hanks play an unlikable character? And the closest I can think of is A League of Their Own. At first he's kind of a jerk. He becomes more likable during that movie, but he was really good as being kind of the jerk, yelling and making girls cry in that movie. He does actually a really good job, but I don't know why I could never get over just looking at it. I never thought, oh, it's Tom Parker. To me, the whole time I looked at it, I was like, oh, that's Tom Hanks in a fat suit. Like it was so distracting throughout the whole movie that I was just thinking, oh, Tom Hanks in this weird, and I didn't think it was a good fat suit the whole time I was watching. I was thinking, all I could think about was like that fat suit. Like I don't know, it just didn't seem right on Tom Hanks, and Tom Hanks just didn't fit the part to me. Of course, he has a weird accent and all this. Sometimes he sounds Irish, like he wasn't Irish, but sometimes he would say a line. I'm like, is he Irish? It sounds like an Irish way of saying that. But anyways, yeah, I didn't like his character at all, and I didn't like the way they did the whole movie through him. I was thinking I'd rather just have a good actor that's good at playing bad guys, who is already kind of heavy. I was thinking like John Goodman. I would rather have like John Goodman, who's an excellent actor, already kind of a heavy set guy, and he's good at playing bad guys. I've seen him play jerky bad guys in lots of movies. I was thinking just put John Goodman in that role, and I think it wouldn't have been distracting. It would have worked so much better. But anyways, that's my opinion on that. But yeah, overall, it's so long. I was bored with almost all the scenes except for when he was singing. It was interesting. I do love the first part when we first see him singing to a group of girls, and the girls just like something comes alive in them because they see, Elvis is this good looking guy and he's jiggling his leg, and a lot of crotch shots, to kind of emphasize like, okay, we get it, he's jiggling around and making the girls go crazy. And I love just how the girls are just sitting there just very, nice and polite, and all of a sudden they're like, ah, they have to scream because they just can't hold it inside. They think, Elvis is so good looking, and him singing rock music just made them go crazy. I love how he did that. That was an interesting way of doing it. I'm trying to thank you. Who's the director? I already forgot who the director was, but Baz Luhrmann, who does a lot of musicals and kind of a strange director. I wouldn't say he's my favorite director out there. I think he did Moulin Rouge and some stuff like that. But anyways, yeah. So yeah, I didn't like the overall direction of the movie. The only good part, of course, everybody's talking about is Austin Butler's performance as Elvis. I mean, he definitely has the look of Elvis. I don't know if he's singing or if he sings. The vocals are really good throughout the movie. As he sings, the way he moves, the way he talks, definitely was channeling Elvis very well. And overall, a good performance. So I wouldn't say it's on the level of a to me the top level. Not forgetting, it was like Joaquin Phoenix and Walk the Line, or Jamie Foxx as Ray, or Rami Malek. I was thinking as Freddie Mercury. Like to me, that's like top level music biopic acting. Austin Butler, I'd say, is just a little bit below those as performance wise. I think it was like the best performance I've seen. It's a fine performance though overall. Definitely had the feel of Elvis and all that. And I don't know, yeah, the musical parts, like when he's doing this Christmas special, was maybe the best part because he went through a bunch of different medleys of Elvis hits. So I enjoyed that when he was singing all these really good Elvis songs, and he was doing all his dance moves and the black outfit. Definitely iconic Elvis. Some of that stuff was good, but overall, I thought this was a very a big misstep, I think, in music biopics. And sorry to Adam and Jacob and anybody that loved this movie. I just was not one that enjoyed it. Anyway, so that's my thoughts on Elvis. I'd give it like a 2 out of 5 stars. I'd give it a strong not recommend. The other movie I want to talk about is Thor Love and Thunder, which I just got done watching just a couple minutes ago. I was waiting to see that one. Looking forward. That was my most anticipated movie of the year because I love Thor Ragnarok so much. It's one of my favorite MCU movies. One of my favorite superhero movies. I think so well done. And we got Taika Waititi, who's kind of one of my favorite directors out there today. Very good comedic director who's now directing big budget movies like Thor, and he's doing a great job. Anyway, so he comes back to direct it, so you think this should be a home run. It's been getting a lot of fairly negative reviews before I saw it, so I kind of knew what to expect going in, what the negative reviews were. But I wanted to go in and I wanted to enjoy it as much as possible and not think of the negativity. And coming out of it, I have to say I kind of agree with a lot of the negative views, and overall I was not impressed by the movie. Overall, I was kind of bored. I found myself kind of just my mind wandering and not paying attention sometimes, and I go, oh yeah, I got to rewind this and watch it over the scene again because I don't think I was paying attention. So that came a lot, so that's not good. I don't know, it's one of those movies where the storyline just did not, capture it, did not pull me into the movie. I was never really crazy about the story, the whole overall story of the movie, like I was with Ragnarok, in a sense. And like movies that are good, really pull you in and you can't stop watching because you're just into the movie. I never got into the movie where, I was constantly getting up, going to the bathroom or getting something to eat, and coming back, pausing it, come back. I don't know. I couldn't just not, I couldn't just watch all the way through. I just felt like I had to get up and do something during the movie. I don't know. It just didn't catch me like the last one. The whole Gore God Butcher, I don't know. I wasn't crazy about the bad guy. He has this necro sword thing, and the fight scenes weren't that great. I didn't think weren't that interesting. I mean, I understand his motivation. Of course, Christian Bale's a great actor, and I understand his motivation as a bad guy, kind of wanting to kill the gods. But I don't know, the fight scenes I just was not into. It felt like a lot of CGI monsters, and it's just these big shadow CGI monsters, and it's just a lot of hacking. And oh, here comes a monster. Oh, here comes a monster. Oh, I don't know. There was just no creativity in the fight scenes. A lot of lightning, of course, and all that, like the other ones. But I don't know. I didn't see one fight scene where I was like, oh, that was a really great choreographed fight scene. Like I was really enjoying that fight scene. Anyway, so it didn't catch me as an action movie that well. And then as a comedy, I hardly ever laughed throughout the whole movie. Unlike Thor Ragnarok, I laughed throughout that movie. It was one of the funniest movies I've seen in the MCU. Uh, really enjoyed it because of that, because of how funny it was. So this was, I don't know what to say. Taika Waititi was involved, and he's usually a pretty good writer, but I don't know if he just didn't do a good job writing this one. The jokes just didn't land for me like the last movie, and I don't know what that was. It was just that's just the way it was. Just I didn't laugh very much, and I was kind of bored with all the action sequences. And I still think the Jane Foster Thor love story, like they tried to redo the love story after Natalie Portman didn't show up for the third for Thor Ragnarok. So and we kind of the whole storyline, of course, was that she was not interested in being Thor. Like she wanted to get out of Thor after the first movie, but she was contract obligated to do the second movie, which is like the worst MCU movie in a lot of people's opinions, Thor: Dark World. And so the reason why she never showed up for like the Avenger movie, she never showed up for Thor Ragnarok, because there was always this idea that Natalie Portman just didn't want to be involved and she didn't care. And so I was kind of okay with just doing away with Jane Foster, okay, good riddance, Natalie Portman, she doesn't want to be in the movies. Let's do something different. And besides, the love story never worked for me in the original Thor. It was always a clunky love story. I didn't quite understand why they were in love. They didn't do a good job with that. It was one of the worst love story since I would say Star Wars: Attack of the Clones. I never got those love stories. It's just like, oh, you're attractive, I'm attractive, let's be in love. It doesn't work. Anyway, so this one, they kind of come back and try to revitalize that, and it still didn't work for me. So I'm like, I still don't believe that Thor and Jane Foster as a couple. It just, I don't know. Unfortunately, it just Marvel's not real good with couples, I don't think, and love stories, and so that was one that really I thought still misses for me. So I didn't really care when Jane came back as like this Lady Thor. Like I didn't really care for her at all throughout the movie. I was never invested in that character because she disappeared. Now she's come back. Now she's got Thor powers, but she doesn't really know how to, she's kind of new to the whole Thor power thing. And their relationship, I don't know, it just never really worked for me still. Like I said, Russell Crowe comes in as Zeus, and like, what happened to Russell Crowe? I guess I was thinking like 20 years ago, he was like the biggest actor in Hollywood, and he was, very muscled, very chiseled. He can do Gladiator and do action like that. And then you see him here, and he's kind of overweight, real pudgy. His performance was not very good. He had this weird accent, and I didn't care for his whole part at all. I'm thinking, man, what happened, Russell? You're like so good. I guess I don't know, 20 years went by, and I guess he kind of turned into Marlon Brando or something, where it's like gained weight and just didn't care anymore. I don't know. Never really cared for any of the Zeus stuff and the gods and stuff like that. Like I said, I don't know. It just none of it really worked for me, unfortunately. And I really wanted to like the movie. I'd say the best part was Guardians of the Galaxy. I was thinking I want to see another Guardians of the Galaxy movie because I liked it when they were in it with Thor and all that was going on there. But yeah, uh, it's unfortunate. It's still a misstep for me, just like Elvis. So I hate to say I had two negative reviews, but and I just watched Thor, so I still have thoughts I have to think through, I suppose. But overall, I would still give that like a 2 out of 5 stars. To me, it was a strong not recommend. Just especially when you had so much hype going around and so much expectations, and to say that I don't know why they couldn't recapture that magic from the last movie. It just disappointing to me, I guess. And I hate when you watch a movie and you're disappointed. That's like the worst movies. Just be disappointed, and I was disappointed with that. And did we need yelling goats? I mean, did anybody think that was a good idea? I don't think I've heard anybody think that was a good idea. Throughout the whole thing, I was just like, why the yelling goats? The screaming goats. That just didn't make any sense to me. It was annoying. Could have done without it. Didn't need the goats at all. I feel like I didn't need Jane Foster in the movie. It's like, I just wanted to see a Guardians of the Galaxy and Thor like mashup movie. That's what I wanted to see. But yeah. So non-recommended for both movies, unfortunately, for Elvis and Thor Love and Thunder. So sorry to anybody that likes that movie. I know some pretty negative about Thor and positive about Elvis, but yeah, that was my take on those two kind of big movies that came out this last year. So feel free to comment. What do you think? Did you like Elvis? Did you like Thor Love and Thunder, or didn't you? Feel free to comment on your thoughts and what you thought about. Yeah, am I totally off my rocker? In my opinion, I don't know. But anyways, yeah, tell me. Just thank you to everybody watching the video. Thank you for liking it. And thank you to all the subscribers for supporting the channel. I really appreciate you all. And hope you have a good day.